And the big pros of these is the price point. Hello guys, Sam here from GrowBuds, and today I'll be taking a look and unboxing the Marsh Hydro TS3000 LED grow light. It's I would say an interesting fixture, definitely really affordable, and it has a bit of some differences with the other lights such as Spider Farmer and Viper Spectra, so that's why we wanted to take a look at the light. And yeah, so I'll first start by opening this box here to give you guys an idea of how it's packaged and everything. So comes in a big box like this, pretty standard but super effective packaging. They put this little piece of wood here. I guess it's to make sure the light doesn't bend and it stays straight the whole journey. All right, so I'm just gonna get this out here. I'm gonna make you take a look at the inside of the box. So here you can see we have the drivers that are detached here. And they actually sent us a couple of those cool stickers here. So I'll just go over real quick what was included in that box. We got those nice stickers. Next to that we have the RJ port. So that's going to allow you to daisy chain multiple lights and control them with only one dimmer or controller. So that's essential in my opinion, especially if you are looking to buy several units. Next we have the pretty standard rope ratchets with the light hangers. I'm not going to open this up. You guys probably know what's inside already. We got the pamphlet here, all the user manual and stuff, so I'll not go over these. You can easily find it, on the internet, on our website directly. And next we have these manual drivers. Everything is already plugged in it, like it's already plugged, but you have to assemble it on the fixture. So I'll just go ahead, do that real quick. Okay, so to assemble this light's pretty simple. You will just need to put the drivers on top here. There we go. Just so you guys can see, we already have these little screws there that are included, so very easy to install. Just unscrew these like that. We'll remove that little blue Right, so maybe just one thing right from the start that I noticed from this light is that they had this little blue wrap here on the top. I guess it's just to make it so it's really brand new when you open it. So I definitely suggest, well, I'm pretty sure you guys will do it, but you need to remove that blue wrapping. And one thing that I dislike a little bit about it is, I don't know if you can see here, but we have a little bit left. So I'm afraid that might melt because of the heat, obviously, that will be produced by the drivers and the heatsink below. So I don't know if it's a major issue, but I mean, it's a detail, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm just gonna go ahead, assemble those drivers along with the control panel, the control module, and we'll look at the light once it's assembled. Alright, so I just finished assembling this light. Was my first time doing it, and it took about 5 minutes, so it's not that complicated. I mean, it could be a downside for some people to have the light not already assembled like other lights that we've seen already, such as the Spider Farmer, but in other cases it might be a pro, because especially if you intend to keep the drivers outside of your tent, for example, you have these cords here that are basically powering the panels with diodes in there. So if you want to take those drivers, you have plenty of cord here that allows you to put those drivers away and then save maybe some heat emission inside of your tent or your grow space. So I mean, all in all, I would say it's both a pro and con, but yeah, I mean, definitely not too complex to assemble at the same time, so I think should be fine. Now, one thing that I want to point out here is this little module. So here we have the plastic module that allows you to dim the light. Also has these RJ ports here to daisy chain the lights together. So the module itself feels a little bit cheap, but that doesn't mean it's not going to work well. It's just from other controlling modules that I've seen, this one feels a little bit more like plastic, but I mean, it's just my opinion. So here we can see we can dim the light apparently down to 0%, up to 100% again. So that's pretty standard. Maybe my impressions on the light itself, like I'm not particularly a fan of the design of the light itself, this heatsink, but it's still, I think, very clever, because what they've been able to do is we have a very thin aluminum or metallic, you know, heatsink, but it also doubles as a sort of reflector. Because of the design, you guys can see it goes on the edges like that. So that might actually improve the light itself. So it's a very cheap, but also very efficient way to have both a small reflector with a heatsink at the same time. So, I mean, it does not look like awesome, I would say, but it's definitely interesting. Okay, so the light itself, once assembled, feels good, but maybe not as sturdy as other lights that I've seen in the past. Like I said, it's a very thin metallic plate here, so it feels a bit more shaky, and it's just not as sturdy as other lights. But I mean, is it really an issue? I don't think so, but that's just like the way it feels. Now let's take a look here at the diodes. Mars Hydro are using the latest Epistar diodes. So in terms of the efficacy of these diodes, they claim that it's about 2.1 up to 2.35. So it's definitely a bit lower than the 2.6, 2.7 that we've seen with the LM301Bs in most of the other fixtures that compete with this. But we also have to mention that the price is also not the same. This light retails for about $435. So it's a bit more affordable than, for example, a Spider Farmer SF4000. It has the Epistar diodes, so you have these 4 types of diodes, again, pretty similar to what we're used to see to get a full spectrum. So you have the 3000 Kelvin, the 5000 Kelvin, and then you have 2 diodes that are providing that red. And one of these diodes is actually providing sort of the deep red. So they claim it has a little bit of infrared. But again, I think that's pretty similar to what we can see in other lights of this kind. So again, it's worth mentioning this is a Chinese LED company, and the big pros of these is the price point. But I mean, Mars Hydro, it's been a while now that they've released this light, but it has been reviewed by other people such as Shane at Migro, and it has received some pretty good feedback from the community. I mean, it's affordable. Like I said, it's a clever design in terms of the heatsink and reflector panel. And overall, I mean, it provides a great quality for the price you pay. The diodes themselves don't seem to have any sort of specific coating on them, and they don't advertise any, so it would be interesting to see what is the IP rating of the diode. So on the drivers, we see that it's rated at IP67, but I mean, we don't have any information actually on the coating for diodes, so I'll have to look into that. But I mean, I'm pretty sure we've been selling this light for a while now again, and people are using it in grow tents, humid environments and stuff, and it's performing well. So I don't think that would be any issue. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead, plug the light so you guys can see what it looks like. All right, so we get a 5-foot cord, but like I said, we also have these extensions. So if you want to detach the drivers from the fixture, you want to hang them outside of your grow space, you'll get an additional cord length to it. So that's fantastic. I'm just gonna go ahead here. Here we go. All right, so this is the minimum I can dim this. It's looking pretty good from the inside. We see the different types of diodes here, like the 3 diodes that I mentioned. And I'm just gonna go ahead to 100%. Here we go. So that's the maximum here. Sounds pretty, well, looks pretty bright to me. So this light will cover a 4x4 area for flowering, and it will cover around 5x5 for veg. So that's again very similar when we look at the lights such as this one. I would definitely recommend to use it in a 4x4, but to be sure about that, we're going to do a more in-depth review of this light. We're going to do some testing with it inside of a 4x4 grow tent, and we'll give you guys the readings so you can take a look at it. We also want to compare this light with similar Chinese LED grow lights, the white light full spectrum, latest generations. Just want to check, you know, which one performs best. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Like I said, we're going to do a more in-depth review of this light shortly. So if you guys have any questions, things you think I didn't mention in this video, please make sure to include this in the comments. As usual, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and see you next time. Peace.